Looking for what's on this weekend? Other great community information and local business reviews? Well, check out the Best of Eastbourne and subscribe for free weekly updates.
EYR.
So I'm joined by David Ruddle from the Best of Eastbourne. Hello David, how are you?
Hi Sam, I'm very well, thanks.
Good. Is it okay if I ask you some questions about your company today?
Yes, no, definitely, most welcome.
Okay, so the first question is, could you give the audience a little summary of what the Best of Eastbourne does?
Well, the Best of is a place where businesses and the community work together in a sense, to promote all that is best in Eastbourne.
Yeah.
So it's funded by business members, so we're not funded by the council or any other organisation. It's funded by local business to make the business community better,
Okay.
as well as supporting the local community organisations at the same time.
Okay, so out of interest, do you provide specific help tailored to your members' individual needs, or do they all receive the same support?
So we've got a range of memberships,
Okay.
and what it is every business is different,
Yeah,
and
of
I
course.
have a conversation with them, try and identify what they need and how we can kind of fill in the gap. In business, it's always difficult to know what skills are lacking in a business until you've had that initial conversation. And what the Best of tries to do is bridge that gap without being an added expense. So we've got options from less than £1 a day right up into the hundreds, and it all depends on whether they need visibility on social media, or one-to-one support, kind of access to a marketing agency without the marketing agency price tag, so to speak. Although our packages are kind of like standard, what we deliver within these packages is different to every business because of what their requirements may be.
Okay, so what kind of advertising and marketing tools do you share with the businesses you work with?
So the Best of has been an online web directory since 2005. I got involved with the Eastbourne franchise in 2011 when I bought the rights to the area. And what it was originally was back in the good old days when online was a new thing to business. Not many businesses had a website. So having a listing on a directory is actually very important for most businesses. But as things evolved, and it got a bit more interesting in 2011 when I joined, was the Best of evolved from just being a directory to being a marketing support service.
All right,
So we now develop our own social media channels, our email database. We do paid advertising through Facebook, etc.
Okay.
And what that does is it allows the members to benefit from all our activities. So the thing that makes us different to a Chamber of Commerce or a business networking group is my role is 24/7 marketing.
Okay.
Is I spend a lot of time watching webinars, attending marketing seminars, etc.
Okay.
And trying to best understand the tools that we have. So one of the powerful tools that the Best of has to offer is our blog, because Google and online services such as Google, Bing, etc., they're constantly crawling the web looking for content.
Yeah.
Now, a small independent business may update their website maybe 2 or 3 times a year. They might be more frequent, but on average, businesses the most they'll ever spend on their website is the setting up. Once it's there, they kind of move on and kind of go service delivery, looking after their customers.
Okay.
Whereas the Best of has ongoing traffic to the website. So we've got events, we've got the blog, we've got special offers, we've got business reviews, we've got content on our site changing every single day. So Google will spend more time on our website and track things and look for things. So a business using our platform versus their own can potentially get quicker results for putting out content and reaching a wider audience without having to spend hours and hours and hours developing relationships with their audience.
Yeah, okay. So when it comes to your clients, do you believe that somebody's passion is enough to make their business work, or are there other things that are important?
Passion is very important to get started. I've met in the last few months, I've been kind of going through all my previous data for the last 10 years just to to make sure I haven't missed anybody.
Yeah.
And what will get an entrepreneur going is a love for their product or service.
Yeah.
And that's when they'll go to the point, do you know what, I want to strike out on my own, I want to deliver this, I want to do this, I can do a better job. And the amount of entrepreneurs who then go, wow, there's all these other things.
Yeah.
And I think one of the most important things for business owners is the ability to let go.
Yeah.
Because when you start a business, your passion is just phenomenal.
Of course.
I remember when I bought the franchise and I wrote my check to pay for my business.
Yeah.
And I came home and I had a big expense around my neck with no clients.
Yeah.
And I didn't sleep for the first week because I was so full of ideas. I had A4 pads of notes of things that I wanted to do.
Wow.
And the passion will get you started.
Absolutely.
The ability to let go and outsource and to let other people do things, because the quickest way to build a business is to outsource. Is to get a bookkeeper, to get somebody to do your web, to graphics, etc. There's so many tools that allow a business owner to do things that what you might find is you spend all your time just doing the work rather than building a business.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the phrases that many business owners will hear over time is working on your business rather than in it.
Okay.
And the business owners that take the time to work on their business will grow a much more profitable business in time, rather than the ones who are going, well, I'm very busy, I've got all these things to do, I've got to do the graphics for my clients, I've got to do this, I've got to do that.
Definitely.
And taking on either an employee or a freelancer to take that burden off, because what I've tried to do at the best of, rather than taking on a team of people, is I've grown a network of trusted support freelancers.
Okay.
And I leverage their passion for what they do.
Yeah.
Which means they do the job in half the time with much better results than I could ever possibly manage. But I pay a premium for that. So instead of paying £10 an hour to an employee, I'm paying £35, £40 an hour.
Okay.
But the results are substantially better because I don't have to wait a week. I don't have to explain the ins and outs to the person. I don't have to train them up.
Yeah.
And I can pretty much drop in a request to a freelancer, and they'll get back to me within 24 hours because they're motivated, their business, their reputation on the line, and they kind of understand my needs much quicker than an employee. And I found that that works really well for me. But I look at other organisations where they've taken on an apprentice, and the apprentice has brought new thinking and new differences to the business. And one of the things I got involved with, probably about 8 or 9 years ago, was Eastbourne had the 100 apprentices in 100 days. And I went to the presentation ceremony having had success, and I got to hear a lot of apprentices talking about how amazing the experience was for them, but equally so the employers who took on the apprentices were going, wow, we would have never thought of that, because an apprentice comes with all the skills and ambition, but none of the jaded, oh yeah, we've done that before. And they bring a new lease of life. So every business is very different, and it's looking at how can you make your business the most successful it can be without having tons and tons of admin time, because that's where small businesses are more agile to the larger organisations. And sadly, through lockdown, we've seen a lot of the big names go. Prior to lockdown, they were on, many of them were going. Household names like BHS, Debenhams, all these stores that just don't exist anymore because change is very difficult. It's very difficult to implement when you've got thousands of employees, all with their own mindset. A small local business, and this is what people like working with me, we'll sit down, we'll have a chat, and they'll be going, right, so when do you think you can do that? And I was like, well, do it now. My business, I can roll out a campaign within 24 hours. One of the things I've loved hearing over the years is I love inspirational speakers. Entrepreneurs should spend time listening to people who've been there and done that. And Will Smith, he's got some really good stuff out there. He always talks about for sailing fast is you shouldn't be afraid to fail, because you will never grow if you don't make don't think differently. If you're always in the safe zone, nothing changes.
Yeah.
And use calculated decisions, not just reckless. You can't just go, oh yeah, I'm just going to try this on a whim. Make calculations. And one of the smartest guys I've seen talking about that particular topic was work out how you can get back to where you are without failing. So if it all goes horribly wrong, how do you get back so you're not out of pocket and you get back to square one? But have the bravery and the guts to kind of go, I'm going to do things a bit differently. As Nigel Bottrell, who is the founder of the Bestof and various other organisations, the more mistakes you make along the way, the quicker you learn. So it's a bit like one of my favourite phrases from Tony Robbins is when you're a parent and you've got a child and the child tries to walk for the first time. If it fails and falls down, the parents don't go, oh, well, don't try and get up again.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not for you. They keep encouraging it. And that's what we should do for entrepreneurs is when they don't get it right, is encourage them to try again, but also help them identify what went wrong and how they can do it differently.
Okay.
That's one of the exciting things about being in the marketing world is there's no really wrong way of doing things.
No.
There's finding the optimum way of doing it and the most cost-effective manner of doing things.
Thank you for that. That was very interesting advice for our young audience.
Don't play games with my heart. Ooh-wee. Now the feels hit me differently. When the hidden is deep, don't play, yeah, yeah. Don't play games with my heart, ooh-wee. Now the feels hit me differently. When the hidden is deep, don't play, yeah, yeah.
All that time on your own with me, we had fun on the 360. I helped you get out UAV, still could never get you that AT. Sneaking in school just to get by you. I'm obsessed with the sand on you. Coco Chanel on your neck, with your body in check. Loving all the time with you. Now you've just gone missing. You're airing all my wishes. You're online but still won't listen. My time is you dismissing. This isn't no way a two-way street. I'm playing sad and it's on repeat. Call me here hoping you see my snap, cause I'm not ready for us to ride, no.
Don't play games with my heart, ooh-wee. Now the feels hit me differently. When the hidden is deep, don't play, yeah, yeah. Don't play games with my heart, ooh-wee. Now the feels hit me differently. When the hidden is deep, don't play, yeah, yeah. All the things you do, yeah, I think I've seen it all before, seen it all before, everything you're saying, yeah, I think I've heard it all before, yeah, I've heard it all before. If you don't give me your time, then I ain't giving you mine, If you're gonna lie, then I'ma say goodbye. Every game you're playing, yeah, boy, I've played them all before, and I win them all.
Cause now you've just gone missing. You're airing all my wishes. You're online but still won't listen. My time is you dismissing. This isn't no way a two-way street. I'm playing sad and it's on repeat. Call me here hoping you see my snap, cause I'm not ready for us to ride, no.
Don't play games with my heart, ooh-wee. Now the feels hit me differently. When the hidden is deep, don't play, yeah, yeah. Don't play games with my heart, ooh-wee. Now the feels hit me differently. When the hidden is deep, don't play, yeah, yeah. Play, yeah, play, yeah, play, yeah, play, yeah, yeah, play, yeah.
when it comes to local businesses, why is it important for them to work together and support each other?
Well, it's always difficult going against the big boys, and through lockdown, we've seen the likes of Amazon rocket in sales because they are the kings of home delivery. But what we've also seen is the rise of entrepreneurs and local business owners getting smarter in kind of going, well, how can we get these goods and services to our customers? How can we offer a home delivery service? How can we do things differently?
Yeah.
And when local businesses work together, it kind of creates a whole hive of activity. And there was a great example in the news. I think it was up in Yorkshire, where a whole little high street, a precinct of local businesses, they put together special deals for certain days of the week. So you could go to the pub and you could get your burger and a pint, but the burger was supplied by the local butcher, and it was all cross promotion, and the quality is just staggeringly different because the intelligence for the business owner is they know what the local people like. If you're dealing with a local business, they've got much more invested in the local area. They put more back into the town, and whereas a national train will be kind of, well, we're a warehouse somewhere in the Midlands or somewhere in the country. We're just a box with a number on it. And if that's all you're looking for, then that's great. The danger of going down that path is if we always just use the big boys because they're cheaper, then we lose that diversity of the high street, we lose that diversity of local business. And local business brings so much more to the town because we did a campaign probably 5-6 years ago now, where we were approached by a local football team. And they were doing incredibly well. They were winning cups, all sorts of things. And for just a kind of an amateur team, they were really, really good. They'll probably get very angry at me for calling them amateur, but not being very professional in the football world. I don't know the ins and outs of it. They asked me if I was able to sponsor their team, and I was like, well, the Best of Eastbourne doesn't have incredibly deep pockets. But what I do have is a talent for making deals and structuring them. So what I did was I spoke to a number of our business members and said, we've got the opportunity to put the Best of branding on their training kit. If each of you were to put into the pot of money a equal share, what I would do is I will give you additional profile on the Best of Eastbourne website. So we did a trade-off for, they got increased presence on the Best of, and the team got sponsored, and they continued to go and win trophies, and some of the other businesses then sponsored other areas, etc., etc. But it was making the deal possible to support a local team who then went on to do better things. Equally so, when Neon Noel was happening and they were lighting up the town hall, it was not a cheap thing to be putting on. I think it was like quite a few thousands of pounds worth of activity going into that. And again, I went back to the business members and said, right, well, individually we can't necessarily afford this. However, if 10 of the businesses all put in a lump of cash, I could then do a sponsorship where the Best of brand gets put onto the town hall as part of the sponsors, but I will then give you increased visibility on the website. And as it turned out, the 5 seconds our logo was on screen, I think the businesses all putting in their money got a better deal because they got homepage exposure on the Best of website, and we were getting thousands and thousands of visitors to the website that month. So they actually got a better deal than actually being one of the many names shooting across the town hall as one of the many sponsors. So businesses who cooperate can put their names to bigger things. And that's what the Best Stuff's all about, is we can make deals happen. And that's one of the things I enjoy most. Looking at opportunities and kind of go, well, how can we make this happen, and how can we find businesses within the group that will benefit most from being involved with it? And that way all of the business members all benefit. So we have our core costs, which are funded by all the members, but we'll have things like this where we can actually put Best of branding on it, and all of the businesses have benefit, as well as all of our community partners and charities and sports teams, etc., that we work with.
So finally, do you have any further advice you would like to give our young audience, or are there any upcoming projects that you would like to advertise?
Well, the thing for anybody thinking about going into business is it's not as easy as you thought, but it will also be the most rewarding thing you could possibly ever do.
Yeah.
And make sure that you surround yourself with the right support structure. One of the things I see that's very common is not having the right people to be your cheerleaders and to be kind of pushing you on. They'll be going, that'll never work. And when you watch all these stories, like Eddie the Eagle and things like that, where all these people were told, no, you can't do that. Great thing to use is use that to your advantage. Use that to kind of go, well, actually, I'm going to prove you wrong. And I look back to the statistics when I was starting out, and it's phenomenal how many businesses will fail in the first 12 months. It's very, very high. Very few, smaller proportion make it 5 years, and an even smaller make it 10. And that's generally because your enthusiasm and your passion will only carry you so far. Make sure that you're outsourcing what you can. Make sure that you're taking on board people who can give you the best advice.
Absolutely.
And make sure that you're always looking after the customer. Be customer-led, and that will see you in good stead.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, David, for coming on.